building a behemoth. Here we go. It's our third week on our mini bulking season. Nothing too exciting. We had a fun weekend, went to a concert, listened to some great music, and drank a whole lot of alcohol. But that's something that only happens maybe once every 6 months in my life. But you know, I always like to remind, I'm not training for the Olympia. I just like to be healthy and have some fun, some, untracked fun for a day or two, and then right back to business as usual. And being good at taking those little breaks and not going nuts over it is what will get you long term into those happy places, because you're not going to do unhealthy, weird eating disorder, OCD type things to try and feel better about the decisions you made. Instead, you just be okay with the decisions when you make them the first time, right? And that's the stuff I've had to deal with and teach myself, that, if I don't be obsessive compulsive for 1 or 2 days, very, very infrequently, I can genuinely enjoy myself. And then it's more motivating and enjoyable to get right back to work and follow the diet and kick my ass day in and day out. It's like the concept of why we have weekends, why we have vacations during the school year in America, because those little times, those little breaks give you a chance to just kind of get out of your routine, remember why you enjoy doing everything that you do, but also enjoying doing something different, and then falling right back into place. So, I still drank 2 gallons of water a day. I was very proud of myself for that. Still took my vitamins, still got some sleep, still worked out, stayed on my feet. If I ate stuff, I made sure it had protein. So no, I still make those good decisions, but hell, I was, I had a burger. I had a big old burrito with steak in it. I had some, what was that dinner I had? That's when I had the burger. Had some dessert. I had an appetizer that wasn't amazing, but it was still good. It was food that I don't normally eat or can't make at home. I don't know how to fry polenta wedges, But now we're back to business as usual. We're going to watch some of this water bloat fall off from the concert weekend. My highest weight last week was 239, and my lowest weight was 237, sitting pretty with some tight abs. I think today and tomorrow I'll still look good. I was looking pretty good this morning. I might hold extra water, but we'll see if my hydration over the weekend will kind of stave off that overreaction your body makes sometimes when it's gotten alcohol put through it. So we'll see what our high and low is this week, but I wrote down in my little sticky note here what my diet was last week and what it'll be this week. Nothing too crazy. I added 400 calories to my diet this week to try and, add some muscle, add some excitement to the training, get a sick fucking pump from the extra food. Let me get this started and then I'll start reading the description to it. But the general idea before I get to the macronutrient profile is I added an extra meal. It was a decision of, okay, do I add another meal, or do I add those 400 extra calories to one of my meals? And to be completely honest, I didn't want to make my dinner too big. It's already like a 400 calorie meal, and it's kind of got a good volume to it. I didn't want to make my lunches any heavier. They are dense. They got potatoes and all these veggies in them. There's a lot going on in these. And I expressed that last week, the day I tried to get 4 meals in before the leg day. Shit. I start eating at like 10 a.m. and then I have my last pre-workout meal at 4, and I get 4 meals in 6 hours. My stomach was just super bloated. It wasn't digesting the food completely before I slammed another meal down. And what that leads to is an excess of bacteria producing gas in your stomach, and then I'm farting all day. Stomach didn't enjoy it too much. So my solution to adding 400 calories was eating my breakfast at 7 a.m. So before I get my day started, I eat breakfast like a normal person. I'm about to eat one of these meals as soon as it's done cooking. And then I have from 12 to 4 p.m. to eat 2 more. So I can spread those meals out to a more of a 2 to 3 hour consistency per per meal. And I find when I actually wait 2 to 3 hours between meals, that's when my stomach empties and I feel good again to eat. If I eat too soon, I start to get that bloated feeling where like the stomach's just distended. I'm way too full. And that's enjoyable at times. But as I've gotten older, I've really learned to enjoy having a somewhat empty stomach throughout the day, just so that I can, I don't know, I just feel like I'm more capable. I feel like I can move around better. You know, who the hell likes to swim at the beach when their stomach feels like it's 50 pounds? I certainly don't. So I'm eating my meal, my breakfast, 7 a.m. Then I have 10, 12, and 2 o'clock to eat my other 3 meals. That's plenty of time. And then post-workout, I will be making a strawberry banana protein smoothie. You know, real basic, just add some fruit. Post-workout, who doesn't love fruit? And I have a little bit of a sweet tooth after, so that'll give me some good fill. And then my normal dinner that I've been doing, depending on whether it's a training or non-training day, I get 2 extra slices at dinner to compensate for the lack of carbohydrates. Training days, I drink a 200 calorie carb drink, 50 grams of carbs. But because I don't work out every day of the week, I eat those same calories by adding some extra bread to my dinner, as I just do egg white sandwiches right now. So now that I got this part set into the pot, I'll be able to slow down for a minute, read off my macros. I'll be diligent and put them in my description. And whilst you are in the description, you know, I'd like people to know, you know, you can like, comment, subscribe, and, you know, ring the bell. But I upload like fucking 4 or 5 days a week. Just something for people to consider. But this is the chuck roast meal going down. If you guys are new, it's pretty standard. It's 18 ounces of potatoes, 2 to 3 stalks of celery. Then we got 2 carrots. We get a whole onion, a whole bell pepper, 8 ounces of mushrooms. They're rinsing right now in the sink so I can get the dirt off of them. And then 16 ounces of cooked chuck roast. I slow roast it and smoke it in the grill on the weekend so that when I toss it in here, it adds a nice smoky flavor, adds a lot of depth. I get a whole carton of beef stock. And then once I get all those onions and things in here, I put a tablespoon of minced garlic, a tablespoon of chipotle adobo peppers that I blend into a mush. I add some smoked paprika, rosemary, thyme, bay leaves, and black pepper. And then I let it simmer until all the veggies are tender. And then I cook 200 grams of rice. That's the raw weight before I cook it. And then mix it all up and it makes 3 meals. It's like 1,700 calories total. Pretty good. All right, let's get the beef in there next. Oh, these are just so beautiful. Like, it's a sight for sore eyes when you look at some beautifully roasted meats. This weekend, I may use some money and buy a second fridge, and I'm going to attempt making a pastrami. So that involves boiling some water and turning it into a brine. And then you soak the meats in the brine for 7 to 10 days. It's pretty standard practice for a pastrami. Oh, that was cut off way too much there. And then you smoke it and serve it. You know, pretty straightforward. There we go, on the money, baby. So yeah, that would be great. I just want to try making some like pastrami sandwiches, maybe eat them with some sourdough. I think that'd be really good. You know, and that's bodybuilding. You know, that's how you make your food more exciting than just nothing. You know, I watch these videos and these guys are so proud of themselves. They're like, yeah, man, this is my trifecta meal. I'm honestly just talking about Brian Shaw because I was watching his videos. And he just microwaves everything. And I get it. He runs like $1 million empire for fitness. And that's why he probably doesn't have the time to try and make some extensive meals. But I really appreciate seeing people be healthy, be jacked, muscular and strong, but also eating some amazing food. You know, I think my love language is just cooking, and honestly, it is just cooking. But, you know, I love to put an effort into my own food because I get to sit and enjoy it every day. And it's the only reason why I've been able to be so successful in my diets. It's because when I take this time every day to cook for myself, I love the food I end up making because I don't like cooking for anybody more than I like cooking for myself. Actually, that's a lie. I like cooking for people. It's just more, it makes me anxious because we don't know if they're going to like it as much as I might. But luckily, everyone in my family and my girlfriend, you know, they all have the same palate I do. They all like meats, onions, crunchy things, fat meats. They like, they love garlic. Garlic's like my favorite spice. And then, so yeah, the macros. For last week, we're eating 330 grams of protein on training days, 350 grams of protein on non-training days. Our carbs were between 460 and 490. And our fats were between 42 and 44 grams. So this week, so last week I was eating an average of 3,650 calories. That's where I was sitting. Oh, that smells amazing. This week, I'll be averaging 4,050 calories, so I added 400 calories. And my protein intake will be between 380 on training days and 400 on non-training days. I will be eating between 540 grams of carbs on training days, 515 on non-training, so just above our 500. And our fats are between 44 and 46. The slight variance is just the butter bread adds like a gram. It's called butter bread. It's this thin sliced bread that I get. It's just basic white bread. By adding 2 extra slices on my non-training days, I get those extra gram of fat. And that is the diet for the week. You know, this mini bulk is just going. I started at 237, and I'm just adding food back to see what it takes to maintain my weight at 245. I'm hoping this 4,000 calorie week will get me sitting at 245 consistently. I'm expecting like 247 on non-training days, 245 on the days after training, just because you lose some water weight and stuff. And then once we can sit steady at 245 for a week or two, then we will start descending into the cut again. And if we can start at higher calorie intake, then we will be lighter, eating more than we were the first time, meaning our metabolism is building up higher. And when you can eat more to maintain a weight, like I said, it's easier to do the cut, but also if you're eating more at a lighter weight in a cut, it's easier to fuel hard training. And if you can't train hard in a cut, it's really hard to consistently lose weight. Because as a bodybuilder, you're trying to basically condition your body to lifting weights so that it carries more muscle tissue. And if you can't feed it in order to recover and maintain that work, you're either going to get injured, forcing yourself to work hard and not recovering, or you're just going to feel like dog water, not recovering, then you'll just stop training in general. You'll lose motivation. Basically, nothing good is going to happen from that. So that's why I don't think it's very good to go on extensive cuts for more than 4 to 6 months. Possibly 3 or 4 months if it's your first time doing a cut and it's a very aggressive deficit with lots of cardio, because you're going to get burnout. And just like taking those little vacations, taking those little diet breaks, on a broader scale, you also need those breaks because it's going to get you excited, fueled psychologically. It's just tough for some people who are undisciplined to get on and off that wagon, right? You can get off the wagon and walk next to it, and then you can get on the wagon and ride it and move along a little faster, but you shouldn't fall off and lay on the ground and be left behind by the wagon train, right? You should always keep it moving, whether slow or fast. So I'm just trying to set a good example, letting you guys see me descend into a lower body fat, body composition. Like right now, I look good for photos, but we all hold ourselves to a higher standard. And I think I could be so much better, and I will be. And, a behemoth is actually, I didn't know. I just knew it was a band. And it's an immense, huge, large animal from context. I didn't know how to biblical reference to it. Basically, it's just a gigantic land beast. And I think that's fucking gangster, That's what I'm trying to be, is a immense, massive land beast of muscle for lifting weights. But my land beast, I don't want it to look like a fat whore, right? I want to look like just a tank, And a tank has big guns, so we got to keep these arms growing. And a tank should be relatively agile, right? I'm not going to go do a 0 to 60 time on an A1 Abrams tank, right? But those fuckers, when they get moving, they get moving. They move pretty good for a gigantic, base destroy. It's basically a battleship on wheels. So a behemoth, Project Abrams, that's what we're trying to build ourselves into, a fucking tank. We're taking out bases. We're running down walls. We don't carry the boats or the logs. We blow them up. I almost forgot to put the mushrooms in the pot, but I just threw in the minced garlic and the chipotle pepper. Then we're going to throw in our remaining spices, cover the pot, leave it on high for about 45 minutes until the carrots, you can mush them with the spatula or your fingertips. If you can mush them, then everything else in that pot's good to go. So I cover it so it doesn't lose too much water and just leave that bitch on high. And then I'll pop some rice in the rice cooker with some rosemary and thyme so it's fragrant. And we'll combine it all and it'll be good to go. All right, so let's get these spices in and finish it off. But that's the diet update for the building a behemoth bulking phase of our diet right now. It'll be short-lived. We should get to summer and start our cut in the summer and stay tight through the summer. I want to go to the beach. I want to be shirtless at the pool. I want to feel good and look good. And, I don't want that bloated bodybuilder ab look. I want a nice, tight, trim waist. So that's the target we're going for. So there's already a little smoked paprika in the seasoning on my meats. So I'm only going to dust it with a little bit more to make it taste a bit, more obvious in the food. We're going to throw 2 bay leaves in. Bay leaves are extremely fragrant. They add just a beautiful touch to a savory dish. That's what you want it for. This one's got a stem on it I need to break off. There we go. We're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary. You don't want to overwhelm the senses with too much rosemary. But rosemary is going to add just a great flavor to everything. If it's got beef in it, rosemary is always just a good touch. We're going to do a heaping teaspoon of thyme. And we'll add what's left of that beef stock as needed. And then lastly, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. That's the meal. That's the thing. Ka-chow.